record. All right, there we go. We're back again, Dante.
Yep.
Another week. And I got another interesting topic for today. And
Another week of trying not to get canceled because of
I
David.
think it's more of a challenge than a topic, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because, I felt like this is officially makes 1 month worth of videos. Going one video a week. And like the first 2 weeks I felt it was more like us venting because of just the overall state of movies and video games and just bad storytelling and feeling kind of like we don't get good movies on a regular. Like we'll get one or two maybe every 3-4 years, and we don't really get fun movies anymore. That's why like the Godzilla vs. Kong series has been so refreshing because like it is just fun. Like there's nothing crazy about it. But
I agree. I like that just as much now.
I'm excited for the new one that comes out. That's coming out.
Yeah, this. So you know how I hate ads. Just a random throw in how I hate ads, and I'm like super anti ads. I do everything I can not to outpay so much money. Recently, yeah, I hate y'all. I hate you all. But recently, you know how I don't do if I won't even watch previews for stuff, even no matter what. Like I'll avoid it. If I see even the first few seconds, I'll stop. But recently, that's the only thing that's been catching me is I'll see previews for like a show or a movie, and it will stick with me, and I'll be like, Like it's like I almost understand the other side now of like why they're appealing.
Where I'm like, I can know the ending, but I need to know the rest of the journey of how he gets
Yeah.
there. What conflicts did he
Yeah, spoilers, even spoilers don't bother me as much anymore. Or like I'm able to like enjoy stories where they are more like jumping around in time.
And I hate commercials. I like trailers. Like I can watch trailers all day.
Yeah.
I don't care about cleaning dishes or anything like that, or Ancestry.com. Like, all right, unless it's a good commercial. Like, did you see Paramount's commercial for the Super Bowl with Hey Arnold and Drew Barrymore and
I don't think I watched any of the Super Bowl ads
this
year.
That's maybe one of the best commercials of the year. It's so good. It's hilarious. You got Creed, like the actual band Creed is in it. It's such a well done like scripted commercial. But and I've been thinking a lot between like what's changed over the years, and like and like obviously over the last I'd say 10-15 years, politics has become a lot more like forward in Hollywood and stuff. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it was very separate, which is one thing.
Yeah, correct.
But another thing I think people don't do now is actually go out and talk to people.
Yeah, a lot of people say like when people talk about people's opinions, like when people are like, "Oh, everyone says this," or people think this. It's like, all right, so I know you've been sitting on Twitter the past week because that is not what anyone I met in person said.
Yes, exactly, and I think that is something that, as a storyteller, you should really be trying to go out and talk to people and hearing and learning to just sit there and listen to them because it helps your writing in the end. Because you start getting a feel for personality types, how different circumstances affect different people, and it starts making your stories less black and white and more relatable and gray. And so thinking of that, I'm like, one of the things I'd like to start doing is starting. I want to go out more, but I think a lot of people, when you say go out more, they're like, oh, I don't like going to social things. But I mean, like this weekend I went hiking and I just jumped from a rock, and it was just like it was different. We were down by the lake and there was another family there and we just kind of talked to them, but it wasn't like big social. It didn't drain me socially or anything like that. It was actually just peaceful, just sitting there and watching the river run. My niece was like, there was like this island in between the river, and she's like, jump on the rocks and go over there. But the river was kind of high because we've had a lot of rain over the last couple of weeks, so the river was like actually flowing. And I was like, I'm not doing that one. I have my camera, and I ain't risking it. but the water was about up to my calf, so like the top of the water was hitting the rocks and then splashing on top, which makes the rocks slick. But yeah, it was just like going outside and being in the sun. It was a difference, and it was like now that I have done it, it's like
it's always one of those, right? Like you said, once it hits, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is why I do this.
Yeah. And then I think the other thing,
hold on, I'm my bad to cut you off. Notes. I just needed to make a note, but I guess I should say, yeah, no. I need like that's gonna be like a part of my thing. I'm gonna like stand on that, like almost as a brand. Like I need niggas to touch grass. No, well, yeah, no, for real. Cause like
No.
I used to not like the expression because I thought only other losers who also didn't do it said it to me. It just felt like losers making fun of other losers. But like now I'm like, nah, that's such a. I mean, not to call people losers because I'm a good person, but it also feels like niggas really don't touch fucking grass. Like for real. Like go the fuck outside, bro.
I don't even think go outside. But you have to admit there's something that like the few times like me, you, and Thomas just go out and we get dinner and then we sit at someone's house and we just talk. There's something about just that community in person, not on screen, that is just so much more refreshing than when you just play online. I mean, I don't know if we're doing all that, but I don't think we're.
I'm just being political, nothing crazy.
I mean, when we talk, I don't think typically we're talking about really dumb things that don't affect the world at all. We'll be like, do you think a 30-foot caterpillar could beat a lion? Like, I don't know why we're talking about 30 feet caterpillars, but we are.
No, I will say that even like all the people that always say stuff like, oh, we should make content or we should do this or do that, even since back in the day, like when we were still in high school and stuff like that, we would have conversations that even still I don't people here having. Which I mean I don't really want to have. That's why I struggle with any of this and why I'm only if it wasn't you, I wouldn't even be doing most podcast stuff because the world has proven that they can't handle actual shit. They want to talk about fluff.
I mean, and it's funny you say that because I was watching a TED Talk. I love TED Talks. I don't know about you, but I enjoy it. Obviously, not every TED Talk is for every person. TED Talk is a really big company, but
I still kind of hold that as a goal. I want to do a TED Talk.
That is like one of my goals is to get my own TED Talk. And like they were talking, and they were like, one of the issues they were talking about storytelling, which is what made me click on it and listen. And they were like, one of the issues is when we're in school learning, right? We're taught with our essays and stuff to cut the fluff. But if you pay attention to guys that really catch you in storytelling, it's the fluff that makes you catch in there. The extra descriptions they add, the sound effects, the looks, the pauses, like that's all fluff that you're kind of taught in school to cut out because it makes your paper longer. And I think, and that can physically has affected people's ability to communicate oh man, my brain just shut down. Communicate.
People's ability to communicate.
Communicate and tell better stories and be entertaining. It's why a lot of people are just dry because they talk like a robot, like a scientist researcher, where it's all like straight and to the point. And they get annoyed by people that do add the fluff. Because talking and public speaking and stuff, it's a skill.
Yep.
So like, if you're not until you get to like the top level of like, for example, Andrew Schultz, the comedian, he's great at storytelling. That's what makes his comedy so good. He knows when to pause, when to look, when to get loud, all those type of things. So until you get there, it can be annoying. But we have to learn to just accept it. And I think that's why I like certain actors, like I'm trying to think of some really great actors. You're Robert Downey Jr. Like, there's not anyone that doesn't like Robert Downey Jr. movies.
Well,
like, it's his acting, the way he uses his body to tell stories. You're Leonardo DiCaprio, like the commitment he has to his roles. I mean, Samuel Jackson, fantastic at all his. Morgan Freeman, who he just doesn't seem to age at all. He just keeps going. Knock on
We've
wood.
already
and keep
we've
moving
already
on.
acknowledged that's not a human.
He was built in a lab. Like they get it, and they grew up at a time where internet wasn't a thing, so they were forced to socialize a lot, which made it so that they had to actually get to know people and hear their side of the story, because you couldn't sit on Twitter and read people's opinion. Who 90% of the people, they don't actually probably believe any of the stuff they're posted on there. They're just trying to get people to go, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Literally that.
and I think so. Like, with that, that's why I was like, it's more of a challenge. I think it is time for us to, and I mean, even you in high school, we were much better at going out, just sitting at a park or.
Oh yeah, it didn't feel like you needed to do something to be out. Like, oh, I'm just out. Now it feels like, where am I going out to? Versus like, we would just, oh, it's Tuesday at 6. We didn't have school day or something. Even we did have school, I'm just going outside.
Yeah, and I mean,
we would not even plan to like see everyone, right? Like everyone could have just walked to the park, and then we're all just like, oh, hey, what's up, gang?
Yeah, and I mean, and some people say it's because they're tired, but I find like when you're doing that, you're not as tired as much. Because a lot of people aren't physically tired; it's emotionally tired. And doing things like just going to a park and sitting on the swing and talking with a friend is emotionally fulfilling. So it actually like gives you more emotional ability to move forward and like adapt and de-press from your day, more than I feel like sitting online talking to people on the internet. And hey, I love doing that, like just as much as like the next person. Like I really do. But
hold on, Pete, give me like 2 seconds. Well, finish that point.
Yeah, but it's definitely something I feel like we gotta start doing, even if it's a perfect example.
1 second.
When you used to just live on my floor, like we weren't.
Oh yeah,
we
I was just
doing anything half the time.
Yeah.
We weren't even talking, but just chilling, and then being like, "Yo, you see this? Ha, that's funny."
Bro, I would just wake up in the morning and be like, "Oh, let me go to David's house." You couldn't even. You could have been on a school trip for 2 days, so I didn't even know. I'm just like, I'm like, go to David's house. I'm just sleeping on your floor and shit.
I mean, I felt like, and
I do miss that shit for real.
It's weird, but I think we label a lot of things that weird that are actually like, it's not as weird if you just do it.
Mm-hmm. So I'll be able to hear you, even though I'm gonna
all right
move for a second. So if you get what I'm saying, I'll be right back. But I'll hear you. It still comes through.
All right. But yeah, so the overall like ability to just interact and learn and not make pre-assumptions, and even if we don't like something, understanding that learning what people don't like is just as important as learning what people do like in order to craft a better story. Because so many times when you take things off of social media, depending on what type of, there's algorithms to it. So when you're looking at things and researching things, the algorithm is going to push you towards one type of ideology, religion, faith, science, history, depending on what you personally is, because it's going to try to give you what you like. But in order to become a better storyteller, you have to be able to look and research on things you don't like necessarily and learn and adapt. Understand different cultures, understand different ideologies, understand different religions, understand different cultures. It's very important to do those things, and it's a necessity in order to become a better writer, storyteller, which anybody who works in content creation or even in like upper end corporate needs to learn to tell better stories. It can really change your whole perspective on life and how successful you are moving forward. All right, recording. All right, so the next thing.
Recording the worst time.
The next thing I wanted to bring up was as far as like our particular thing, I think a good pivot would be to start actually like we had talked about early before we started doing this was like actually sitting down and interviewing with people and like hearing their stories. Not even necessarily people that are in content creation, but just people that have good stories in general, whether it's like someone like my dad, someone like your dad, where it's like they've lived a full life. They've done a lot of things, been a lot of places. On top of obviously content creators like, sitting with Drew and talking to him about the creation of this tournament that we'll be going to.
I keep forgetting.
Yeah, it's actually 2
I'm gonna get the damn
weeks
game.
away. It's literally April 6th, which is 2 weeks from today. But yeah, so like sitting down and like talking to them and doing more interview style things. I think one that will help us go from posting this podcast on Sundays to posting 2 videos a week, whether it's one Wednesday, one Sunday, and uptaking our or even if the video interviews are like once a month and we post one person per month, and just sitting down and talking with interesting people who's had interesting lives and good hobbies and how they got there and the difficulties, and kind of build a community for that.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I've always kind of been A1 with the idea of like multi-interview, go through, get a process. Like,
Yeah,
that's
I
probably
love that
one of
type
my
of
main.
things. And like even like I'm even starting to do the thing like for the Tekken tournament. I am creating a come with me type video where I'm recording. I've recorded a couple of my training sessions. I want to do one more just to make sure I have enough content in that aspect of like me practicing. And then I'll record the day of the actual tournament as well to kind of show what happened with the tournament and be like, yo, Drew, let me get the replay of the stream so I can borrow some of that in there. That hopefully will be out by the end of April, early May. That will take a little time. But like, the longer project things that take time to shoot here and you got to go shoot there and then you kind of have to edit it all together. And start doing that with everything and more just documenting. Stop living in bubbles. I feel like a lot of us live in a bubble and it's almost like high school where it's like, I'm a jock, so I only do jock things. I'll never go out and do something else. And it's like, there's no way to live like that. The world is huge, and you kind of have to experience all of it to understand it. I mean, there are a lot of things that I've done over the last...
Peter, just, those faces come out when I'm around Peter.
There's a lot of things that I've done over the last few years, especially with our friend group, that I have no interest in. Like I generally have
a lot, 99%. I'm just like, no, thank you.
I don't, but I go and do it because I can't lie. I do learn stuff by doing this. I learn of like a whole new social group. When I started getting involved with people in the trading card industry, I don't trade cards. I don't really, I kind of think.
Honestly, though, I see what Gary meant too, as a side point. But outside of VFriends, I now get trading cards. Like I get scarcity, I get rarity, I get all the different elements, I get flipping, I get collecting. Like some of these I'll never get rid of. Some of these I can't wait to flip. Some of these are like packets, but I get what you're saying because that's new for me. Like I'm so into trading cards now.
Yeah, and I mean, and you saw it with me and you. High school me and you despise anything creative, and I was like, business is stupid. I'd rather just be creative. And then we both graduated high school. I went off to film school, started learning the business side. You went off to LA, started learning the creative side. And then when we got back together, it was like, I finally understand. We understood each other a lot more on a deeper level because...
Oh, yeah, because that's how, I had no idea I was even a fucking artist. I was like, what? Yeah. You kept being like, bro, the art and the create, and I'm like,
Yeah, exactly.
Now that's like my life. I wish I listened to you 10 years ago, but what can you do?
I tried. But yeah, so, and because even like me, when we first started talking about NFTs, right? Remember, I was not a believer in it, and then you were like, oh well, you gotta listen to Gary Vee point of view on it, and I listened, and I was like, all right, I see merit where he's going for it. The artistic side of NFTs, I just don't think are a thing, but the practical use of NFTs, as far as like tickets to like a baseball game or a football game, that's practical and could be used, and it's more secure so people don't make fake. But like, you know, and then even crypto. Remember, I wasn't a believer in crypto too. But then after watching Ready Player One and seeing VR World, and then being like, the only way we could possibly ever get to the point where you can buy real things in VR would be with crypto.
Maybe I have to wait till tomorrow, okay?
Is that one of the twins?
Yeah, they want to come down so bad. Unless you don't care.
I mean, no. But... I mean,
all right, Peter, you can bring them down.
Yeah, so
I'll just make them not be too loud.
But yeah, so like you start seeing practical, and I think by learning the business side, for me, it's helped me look forward to the future of the creative side. If that makes sense.
You can come down.
Like, I think understanding both the creative and thing helps you see the future better, because you're like, all right, well then, if I learn this technique, it helps me secure my future for when something that I'm doing now becomes obsolete. That's why I'm not really afraid of AI. But this is the last thing I wanted to talk about, and it's the one thing that goes probably with like the interview and the lack of good entertainment, because you get a lot of brain dead entertainment. Or I don't want to call it brain dead entertainment, but it's not like when you watch a good movie, like
there's a difference. Like those are both things that can meet in the middle, but there's a difference is how I'll kind of
I don't want to call it brain dead, but like
yeah,
you remember when you first watched
there are times that it's brain dead, but you can do it and it not be brain dead.
Yeah. Do you remember when you first watched Treasure Planet, right? One of my favorite movies, like, ever.
Yeah, of course.
Treasure Planet is not a movie where you were, like... It's a movie where you didn't end it being like, oh my gosh, I've been learning something, my brain is fried. Mm-hmm. But you saw a creativity, you saw beautiful visuals, and you saw a good story with a moral, right? And something you could relate to. I mean, most preteen teenage Mories could relate to the main character of Treasure Planet, right? So, but yeah, so, and there was almost like an inspiration.
Wait, what time do you get off tomorrow? Go work tomorrow. I'm listening.
Yeah, so there was like an inspiration. A lot of the movies that we loved growing up, there's an inspiration behind it. Like, obviously, we're like, we have to learn the skills to be able to create good stories like that, but there's an inspiration. But with, like, the modern YouTube, whether it's like a Mr. Beast, now, Mr. Beast's marketing side's amazing, but his videos aren't really that complex. It's a very blatant, in-your-face, not super creative, except for the Squid Game video. I think that was really, like, creative, well thought through, you know, production. But like, you know, or like a lot of these other videos, do you think we've mixed creativity into our everyday real life and it's kind of burning us out creatively? Like, reality TV is more popular than just like movies. Everything is a reality thing, and it's kind of like skewed reality. Because everyone does things because there's like, oh, I'm on a camera, so I have to format my life as to.
So
instead of
can I kind of hit that? Hold on, David. Can I go into this?
Yeah, let's go in.
You gave me a good one, bro. Hold on. So, you know how like I was always one of those like you know, like Psych was just like day one for me.
Yeah.
And you know, like I was reading like How to Read a Person Like a Book, or like Body Language 101, or a lot of that stuff in elementary, middle school, like early on. And I don't know if you remember this. You're one of the first people I had this conversation with. Around the time we were graduating high school, it doesn't matter which year, but that time period, I think Wi-Fi had became a thing, right? And I don't know if you remember me telling you this. I mean, Wi-Fi already existed, but I'm
I was
saying
like,
like we had smartphones, we had Wi-Fi, and it
smartphones became a thing.
massively
Mobile
got
data became a
adapted.
thing. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, data, not
Yeah.
Wi-Fi,
I
but
was like,
just
Wi-Fi's been out
overall,
for a while. We're not that old, Dante.
everyone had like like became a thing though is what I meant to say. Like it like the
Yeah.
concept of
The
data,
internet
but I'm just calling that
exploded.
Wi-Fi.
It exploded
Yeah,
at that
like
point.
and so it changed. Like even though it had existed, even when we were in 9th, 10th, 11th grade, it changed the priority from before that, before 2010, the world was here, and then you might get on a social media. After 2011 into 2012, the world was here for people, not us, but like a lot of people, they became in here. And we didn't. To this conversation that we're having about being outside, we did not become in here when everyone else did. We were still out here. And so I remember bringing this up to you in your room one time, and it was a small conversation, so it's okay if you don't remember. But I keep getting thrown off. And it was around the time where I kind of changed as a person because I used to be more evil. I don't know how to explain it, but and I was like, David, I was like, it's like I can't read people anymore. And I remember you being like, what do you mean? Or like, how? And I'm like, it's like they're not reacting to the environment anymore. Like before, I would know if someone's mad or they're happy, they're facing me. But like people started reacting to text messages, and I would be so confused. I'm like, and so right, and that was back then. Now, you can't even. It's people are the way that everyone perceives data. People are like living in shows or like they're living on streams or so like people are almost not even reacting to information in real time. So body language is so skewed now. Like people are like in specific body languages because of a tweet, not about them, about someone that's famous. That there was a tweet. They're like sitting in a specific body language, and it's like in 8th grade, I could tell someone's in a bad mood. In 2024. Like body language as a science has changed inherently because people don't live in reality. Like their day is based on the ups and downs of the emotional fluctuations of an actor. Like that shit is crazy. But okay, I just had to hit
in
that.
high school, if I was sitting there mad, you come to me and I tell you something that happened to me. Now you see someone mad, and you're like, "What's wrong? Can I help you?" And they're like, "Someone said this about Taylor Swift," and you're like, "Why? I don't care what someone said." Like, no offense, like I like Taylor Swift. And I wish her the best, obviously.
Team Swifty.
You know, I hope her, you know. But then you see people like get so involved.
People sleep on Eris, I still got it, and I'm a Swifty. Just so we throw this out there, and this is not being said to not get canceled. I'm actually a Swifty.
Yeah, no, and I don't mean it. Like, I hope. Like,
yeah, no, I really am a Swifty.
So but even like looking at the whole Travis Kelce Taylor Swift thing,
you can put a game on.
I'm like Taylor
but don't start
Swift's
making noise.
relationship is going to get ruined not because of anything Taylor Swift does. It's just because of these crazy fans who don't have their own lives and they live their life through her. And it's like, this is insane. Like, you know, she takes a picture and she doesn't look happy, and everyone's like, "Oh, she's being abused." It's like, she has bad days. I'm sure she suffers from some form of depression, and some days you just wake up and you just don't feel good. You know what I mean? Like we all go through a common thing. Doesn't mean anybody's doing anything to her. She could just wake up that day and not feel good. She could just wake up that day and be like, "I don't feel like being myself today." We've all gone
literally.
Through that. You know, but then the people you get around the people that you love and the people that love you, and then they feed back into you and help build up your emotion and build you back, and then you move on and you're like, all right, I'm good again. Or, you know, even me, sometimes I just take a day where I turn off everything and I just relax. I don't talk to anybody. I completely stay antisocial. I just stay in my own head and work through all my thoughts and have all my crazy thoughts that I would never say out loud because it might get me arrested or put into a insane asylum. But you have those crazy thoughts and then you rationalize those crazy thoughts and you're like, you can't do that, blah blah blah, world domination ain't cool. And then you just move on with life. You're like, all right, cool, I'm good now, I've made it through this. You know what I'm talking about. We all have it. Like, if I could just conquer the world, I'd make this world better. But it's like,
you have no idea.
You think about it, and you're like, I can't make my own life better. There's no way if I conquered the world, I'd be able to make the world better. I'd probably screw it up myself. But it's just natural things, and I think because we live that life, and even people who aren't content creators act like they're content creators. Have you seen Community? The show?
Yes.
You remember
Yes.
what's his name? The one guy who's the film major.
I don't know who is who, but yeah, yeah.
He's the film major,
I don't know
but
their
he
names.
lives his life like by all the morals of TV shows, and it was supposed
Yeah,
to be a
yeah,
joke. People
yeah.
became him. The entire world became him, and it's
Almost literally.
and it's crazy because you hear something, you read a headline, you make an assumption, and then you believe that's the assumption, and then you don't see the headline that came out after to be like, oh yeah, we were wrong, and you're like, no, 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 and then when someone says you're wrong, you're like, oh no, you insert a insult that what I like to call one of those like keywords. You know the words that if you label someone that it's terrible for your reputation, so people back down off of it. You know the words I'm talking about. There's like
Yeah, yeah.
certain phrases and
Yeah,
words you
yeah,
just
of
don't want to
course.
be labeled.
Of
To
course.
get people to back off with you because you can't actually you're afraid that you might be wrong instead of just being like, oh, I was wrong, my bad.
Racist, I'm right.
Yeah, like
Y'all see him being racist? I'm right and he's wrong. No question.
yeah, right.
Never mind. He's not even racist. He's being height phobic. It's because I'm short. He's being mean to me because I'm short. Awesome. Damn, my bad. I knew we were making a point, but I think I kind of like the other side. I'm gonna just start saying everyone's being height phobic to everything. Every argument I'm in, height phobic.
But by being that way, then no one wants to be authentic with you. And like one
Yeah.
of the things that make our relationship great is when we're walling, we'll tell each other we're walling. We're gonna,
Oh, of
hey,
course,
dude, you gotta
of course.
chill. And we may not even agree, and we might be like take a couple days to be like, I don't really want to talk to him. I didn't like the way he said that. But after those few days, we think about it, and we're like, all right, we were kind of being crazy, and we come back, we're like, my bad, man. You know, because we actually communicate, and we're not scared about. I'm not worried about you calling me racist or homophobic. And you're not worried about I don't know what you would call me, what I would call you, but I don't know. I don't know what I was saying. I don't even know, to be honest.
But yeah, I still completely follow you.
You know, so we work through our problems instead of now everyone's kind of like behind this like fake mask of like.
And I've
This
noticed
is
that
the
with younger
structure.
people, they can't build relationships like that I have with you guys. Like my close friends, especially me and you, who came from even outside of um even outside of our personality differences. We started so extreme other sides. Like when we first met, we just weren't similar. Like we were like completely different people. And then we talked and the way we walked and the things we were into. And then in the way that people might perceive us or society would see us, we were different. Like even if it's not like physical specifically, but you know what I mean? Like, even just like how I grew up with my body and how you grew up with your body, like just who we were was so inherently different. But like all it took for us to become friends, like sometimes it's like a story or like Peter, me and Peter weren't friends off no fucking talking, bro. Me and Peter had to go through life and death before we were even friends. Like
Something
it was
about
like
almost dying
we
together.
it's like we've been through life and death. All right, I'll die for you. I love you. Me and you, as different as we were, as extreme as things were, we went from not saying enemies, but for the sake of the conversation, like, and you know what I mean? Like enemies, like, this nigga's really different from me. I don't really know what he on. To like best friends in like a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and like we had one-on-one conversation, and we've been friends since then because in that one conversation, and this comes up in almost every. I bet you if you watch any time that me and you are both on the camera talking, it probably has come up that we don't argue and we just converse. Because since our first conversation,
Except
instead of
anime. We do
fighting,
be arguing in anime when it comes to like.
well, yeah,
We
yeah,
argue over dumb stuff.
yeah. I don't, I don't give a fuck about shit like that. But like real life shit, like you know what I mean, like real life situations, things that people would fight and kill and all that type of stuff over. We actually talk to each other, and even with the point that you're saying arguing, we don't argue like fuck. We argue the point. I'm like, no, nigga, this is better. This means this, not I hate you. You're terrible.
Yeah.
That like it at no point will become an attachment to character or an attack on character. We're just living our life, communicating the thing we're trying to express. And I've noticed in this generation, even like my younger siblings are just people that I see in how humans communicate. It's so funny that you're whispering. The way that like humans communicate, they don't. I see it's so much more rare for a relationship like mine and yours to come, because if we didn't do those things, like a lot of people aren't gonna critique me for obvious reasons. You know me, like not even now, because now I've created that aura where it's like you could talk to me. Me at 17 was not someone who created an aura who like you can talk to me, right? So you have to be tough enough that you're not like scared to conflict me, but you have to be like real enough that it's not gonna just turn into us fighting. And you're one of the only people that really, when we first got close, would be like, all right, look, nigga. Well, that's funny. You didn't say that. But you're one of the only people.
You about to give me cancer? Dang, they are close.
Yo, that's crazy. That's actually hilarious. Which is crazy because I even tried to make you say that for years, and you're like, nah, me getting caught in 8K. But literally, which it is wild that I was trying to get him to say it for years, I can acknowledge. But I am terrible is the point of this conversation. But like literally,
I point out because people will be like, "Oh, you're white," and you say the N-word, but like, you don't understand when a white guy grows up around all African American, they be trying to force you. They be trying
from
to
like kindergarten
you.
up. It's like you're gonna say it every day, nonstop. Nigga. But I mean,
really
he keeps saying it. He keeps saying it all the time. I'm like, Quincy, stop saying that. That's how much he's just. I say
it's so crazy, like, because you hear this happen a lot with white people that grew up in predominantly black neighborhoods, and then the people get mad at them, and they're like, and I'm like, you generally don't understand like his group of friends. And their groups of friends and their family literally trying to get this man to say it all the time.
Hell yeah.
Like, you don't understand. It's like a trap, it's a game. They
but
got bets placed on it, like who can get it.
Fuck yeah. And just recording, just 8K. Like, got you forever. But no, listen. You really were one of the first people to kind of like, and I'm a little bit okay with the Snowflake Society, like using nice words. I don't really mind the words. Like if people want to use like soft words and they can't like say stuff like fruitcake or dummy or like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say the words I'm gonna say, but I'm okay with society not saying them. I'm just gonna say them, so I don't give.
My issue is when you come into my community, like the gaming world, and you're like, you guys can't say that in the gaming world, and the entire gaming world is okay with it. And it's like, no, you don't get.
This is a part of this shit. In sports, right? They're so hard on them about high school athletes. Like, bro, they're high school athletes. But let me make this point. You're one of the first people to really, for lack of a better terms, like confront me, because, and you know this more than probably any other people because you're one of the first ones to really do it. All right, chill out, bro. You're talking a little loud. I can hear you. you would, like I said, like, not even in trying to be aggressive with me, because you know me, like, if you tell me like I did something that bothered you, I'll feel guilty for a month. But if you just blah 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 yell fuss at me, it doesn't matter if I'm wrong. I don't like it. But you would exactly in the middle. You wouldn't like cover up the words. You wouldn't like be too passive. You wouldn't like, you would literally, the fuck are you doing? That's wild. Don't do that. And I would be like, oh, is it wild? And you're like, you can't do this because of this. And I'm like, well, when you say it that way.
No, 90% of the time, it's just be like, yo, if you do that, this is going to happen to me. And that's fucked up. You can't pull me into this. You'd be like, oh, dang, I don't want to pull you in.
Yeah, no, literally.
I'd be like, thank you, I appreciate that.
Because I wouldn't even, because that's what I'm saying. When I do stuff, like, I am a wild person by nature. Everyone knows this, but it's not like I have bad intentions. That's the most of my really close friends are people that learned that, and like you're one of the first people you realize that. So you're like, oh, if I explain to Dante why not to do it, it's because if you tell me it's bad or wrong or illegal, I want to do it so bad. All you did was say, please do it. But if you say, this is gonna make me feel this way, or this is gonna make this person feel this way, and then I'm like, oh, when you say it that way, I hadn't really considered how people feel. But it wouldn't work if you were like, oh, well, Dante, you have to express yourself like this. Or if on the other side, you were like, but that's wrong because of, like, if you added so much like fucking morality snowflake fuckery to it, then I would have been like, but you would literally just cut through, very blunt, very assertive. I almost said it again. You did not say it like that. Brother, you're wildin'. Chill out. Stop wildin'. Don't do this.
Like, that's legit how I would be like, all right, my guy, come on.
But you know what I'm saying? And honestly, I think I have not seen that. Like, and I don't even get that with new people that I meet, because it's hard to meet someone and get that type of relationship.
Well, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
And then I think even by like the end of senior year, me and you had such a close relationship that we now had expectations. Like if I was wilding and you didn't call me out on it, once I realized I was wilding, I'd be mad at you for not saying something to me, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like you watched me do it and you weren't there for me to have my back. Like what the heck? And it would be like, oh dang, my bad. You know, you're right. Or it'd be like, bruh, I did tell you when I said this, and this, and you'd be like, oh, you're right, you did say that, I guess. And vice versa. I mean, we kind of had a thing of, I'm going to say something to you, I might say something to you twice, but after that, I'm just going to have to let you learn your lesson. I'll be there to have your back once it all falls apart, but
yeah,
sometimes you just got to go through it.
And even that, like, on both sides, right? Like, one, if I thought you were wilding, which was less, you're not really the type to wild too hard. You're pretty not wilding type of person. But it's just when you wild, you go pretty extreme. And I would be like, okay, maybe don't burn the world down.
Yeah, you're right. I'm 0 to 100.
And so on the other side though, like not just from like we both also will always be straightforward and we'll always communicate, but other people try to guilt trip and do this and do that. We're both like, hey, listen, I don't want this. And like you said, I don't want it to affect me. It's out of my hands. I'm not going to ever try to control you. Like, I don't have that interest. Like, if you want to do something bad enough, I think this is a consequence. I wouldn't recommend that. But if you still want to do the thing, fuck am I to tell you no? Yeah. Don't say that word. No, bro, they catch it so fast. I'm like, God, they're like, he about to say, I didn't even say the word yet. Bro, they be on me. They're like, that's a bad word. You, because you're a grown up, you can say it. I'd be like, oh,
yes. Yes.
Literally, bro. Like, I actually can. And I could beat you just for hearing me say it. Because why are you listening to talk words?
No, you're right. I mean, so I will say kids help you become a little bit better of a person and less of a hypocrite because they be calling you out on stuff and you be mad at them at the second, but then you think about it.
Oh, you know, crazy. No, Dave made it easier for me to be on like what we're doing. It came from them because I never could censor myself until I was stuck with children.
Yeah, and I think it's funny seeing the shift because as someone from like us who kind of experienced, we were teenagers at the beginning of the boom, but when we were kids, we got to be normal kids, and up until like mid-teens, so like 17, 18, we had no internet. So we kind of got to see both sides of like societal and the big shift. And then it's weird because when we bring someone younger, someone that maybe now is like 23, 24, and they come hang out with our friend group and they see how our friend group reacts, it's very rare they get offended and don't come back. They might be like, wow, this is crazy at first. You can't say that to someone. But then when they see how much joy and like deep friendship we actually had, they're like, all right, there's something different about this. And then eventually they kind of join in because they feel like, wow, it's actually safe. I don't have to worry about them tweeting about me and putting me on blast. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what real friends do. Well, no, that's literally real friends don't do that. Like, I feel like
yeah. Well, real friends give you that space. Yeah, that too. What comes from the like cancel culture era is that more relationships become associate because it's like you get service level TV relationships like, hey, how's the weather, pal? Yeah, okay. Instead of like those fucking like and I'm not saying being racist or care any of that type of stuff, but legit the core concept of locker room talk, especially like with people you're close to and you know that they're not those type of people. Like if everyone that knows me knows, like even most of my guy friends get more mad at me because I'm almost like irrationally a feminist. Like women do the most evil thing, and I'm like, she's a woman, bro. I don't right at that point. It's basically still misogyny because I'm like I just hate men so much that I give women free passes to anything. But when I'm talking to women, the ones I'm really close to, I love making jokes as if I'm the type of guy that's like the opposite of me. because it's so funny that like if you know me, I would never say something like that. Like I would never ask someone like, let's say their body count. I'm not saying it's wrong to do that for people who care about stuff like that, men and women, but I couldn't care less. But I'll jokingly be like, oh, how many people you slept with, and be like super toxic about stuff like that because it's so not me. But you can't do things like that even with like what used to be friends, because acquaintance is like what becomes of things. Like you can't go back surface level. Like you can barely talk to people and not assume they're gonna screenshot you and throw you onto the internet. Like that's like the world we live in now.
Yeah, it's weird. Like people are looking for that gotcha moment in their friends, and it's like, what kind of terrible person are you? And I think that's made. I'm wondering if that's why storytelling has come last, because I try to.
Now I do be trying to catch Edgar and 8K though. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Maybe one day. No.
Bro, Edgar and Peter, bro. If I could just get them caught lacking in 8K, because the world would never believe they say the stuff they say, bro. I'd be like, what in the Edgar and Peter talking to each other? I'm like, this is every wrong thing ever. Like, you said every slur possible. But keep going.
But yeah, and I wonder if that's affecting storytelling, because if you have no actual friends and everyone's a coworker type friend, then how do you write a story of two friends if you don't understand what a story of two friends is like? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Like, things used to be about like companionship, but like we don't get that deep.
Yeah.
And interaction.
And it affects even in love stories, because it's hard to write a love story if you don't know how to have a deep, meaningful relationship.
Intimacy is so flatlined. Like that's why I really got obsessed into the K-dramas. Like even before it was popular, you know me, I was watching K-dramas before them joints even touched
you see the new one coming on Netflix or anything. Where the girl turns into a chicken nugget? I'm gonna watch.
Bro, you already know it's on my list.
You want to watch it together and do book club? We'll do a whole.
Honestly,
book club,
honestly, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
All
Lock that in right now. Let's do that for real.
Book club.
That sounds awesome.
Book club it. But yeah, like
we should play it on Discord and watch it, and then we record after.
Yeah, that works.
Or we can record our reaction.
Is there a third party app to have parties on Netflix? Because remember, Netflix has this thing you can't screen share. It blacks out the screen.
I thought I got around that recently.
I think there's a third party app you can install that allows you to do watch parties on Netflix. I don't know what. Okay. We'll have to look into it, because I thought I used it during COVID.
But even if not, we both have Netflix, so it doesn't even.
That's true.
We can just record ours.
Remember back in the day we were like, ready, set, go.
Yeah, bro. I still to this day Skype flixing is undefeated. Oh. And we'll be like 15 deep. All half in the time, something. 15 deep. All right, let's.
When they had like Aki in there, she's
in like London.
Maybe like UK and just other crazy places, and it's like. But yeah, I think not having meaningful relationship has affected people, and I think it's also what's affected like the divorce rate, because you think you're in love with someone, but when you live with someone, you have to have a meaningful relationship. Because you're with them so much. I mean, there's just no other way to not run into the conflict. And unless you've had a meaningful relationship, you don't know how to work through the conflict, which then makes a lot of people just give up. And then, and it's like, so a lot, minus the, the abuse and stuff like that. Which even a lot of time abusive people, not to give them justification because it's terrible. The reason they're abusive is because they don't know how to deal with conflict. They've either never been taught, never learned, or they have.
I'm gonna say no comment, but yeah.
Or they have a mental disorder which makes them violent. You know what I mean? Like
no comment.
And if you ever talk to a psychiatrist, that's what they'll tell you. They don't physically and mentally know how to deal with their emotional states, and that's why they act. And their answer is to lash out in violence.
Yeah.
Which is why you can have a guy that be like the sweetest guy ever, and then you like burn his chicken and he flips out and beats you, and you're like, what the hell just happened? But then afterward, he like takes you on a romantic horse riding to like a remote island, and you're like, these are not the same people. These are different people. I just don't get it.
Yeah, no, literally though.
It's a lack of understanding, probably because you've never actually had real friends to have meaningful relationship with. Which is sad. But at the same time, it's also not the woman's fault that you don't know how to deal with it, so she got to leave you. or vice versa.
We'll
Because
see.
there's a lot of situations where it's the woman who's doing it to the
Nah,
dude.
in real life though, they're really like I know some like that shit is crazy. Women be really, you know. I will personally always throw out men are worse and there's more of them because I'm a feminist. But nah, that don't mean women are innocent by nature. Because there's some women that be doing some violent shit, like scary violent shit.
Yeah, and I mean,
me personally, neither a nigga or a woman is finna. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't say that. I'm tired of these children, bro.
but yeah,
Honestly, I'm gonna say some wild shit right now. Is
this face safe for you too?
Yeah.
I'm not trying
It's more like get canceled, not get in trouble by YouTube.
Okay.
Like the company YouTube wouldn't care. It would just be like the people who care would care. But I won't say it. But it was gonna be some real child slandering. Like I was about to.
No, I mean, at some point, I do understand why people.
But I mean, I'm pro-abortion, so yeah, I'm not gonna win
like
this argument with me, bro.
Listening to people that don't want kids, I understand why they don't want kids.
Themselves.
But I also think there's something about like when you have.
Damn, imagine getting memed because you said I'm pro-abortion and started dancing saying stem cell. That's crazy. That's the type of shit that I'd be scared of the internet for. But I don't care. I'll take it. I'll go viral off that. I don't care.
Like, I think there's also the thing of like, a lot of people say stuff, but then like when
you know that I said that about you guys. Yeah, that was my first reaction to knowing that you were born. I was like, what? They didn't get turned into stem cells? That's crazy. I love y'all so much now. I'm glad you don't know what I'm saying.
And I think that's what made me change on the no kid thing. Like actually spending time with kids that are like related to me. I'm like, it's different than when it's just strangers, kids. Like my nieces and my family children, I feel completely different than about like random kids.
Oh yeah.
Now maybe some of it is like the authority I have over them. Like when they act up and get out of line,
hey yo,
I can correct them.
You can handle it.
I can correct them. They understand the lines with me, so they typically don't cross it. They might sometimes dip a toe over, and then I gotta put them back in their place.
But you can. You have the like you said, authority
to
be able to.
Kid, there's like nothing
relax.
I can do. You know.
Yeah.
And then when I see like the parents not doing anything, I'm like, you're gonna ruin that child. Like my sister's kids, I'm just gonna look at her and be like, "You shut up. I'll beat you up later." I'm gonna deal with my nieces and nephews right now.
Right? Like
they're not gonna be bad people.
Like I'm gonna hurt you too.
Yeah, we can go too.
We're allowing this. Like, okay.
My nieces and nephews aren't gonna be a little monster that make people not want to have kids.
Look at Avery really swinging around the city. You been flexing now. He running out buildings. He jumping off, swinging. This boy think he's Spider-Man for real.
Oh, dude.
He's playing Spider-Man, so that's why.
Speaking of that website I told you about to get it, they have Miles Morales. They got it on there for like $25. I haven't played the second part of the DLC.
Oh, that's what he's playing right now is the Miles Morales one.
But so I think it's affecting movies because one, why would I want to go see a movie of fantasy where everyone in real life lives in a fantasy? That's why people like anime. It's different than real life.
Well, this boy's Spider-Man. I'm listening. I just hype him so he can.
It's kind of like the thing of people when they, and this is the one I always, because I live a big philosophy of like, is it working? And if it's not, then it has to go type. Like that's how I live my life. When people ask me questions like, is it working? If I'm like, no, you know, who, what, when, where, and why type scientific method with everything I do in life. And then if the answer is like no with that, then it's like, all right, then it has to go. Something has to change. And then I make my change. You know, I like to eat. I'm a fat boy. I love to eat. I eat what I want. But at the same time, I understand.
I only live to eat, bro. People be eating to live.
But then,
there's no point in being here if I couldn't eat.
But then at the same time, when people are like, I enjoy being overweight, I'm like, that is a lie because when I get to that point where I'm like,
I really genuinely wish that I could eat and not be fucking huge.
Like,
that would be awesome.
Terrible. I'm not happy with myself at all. And so when there are people are like, no, I'm happy with who I am. No, you're not. You're lying to yourself.
Oh, I'm gonna hit in the middle of this a little bit. I think framing it like it's just like oh, because it's being mean to them and shaming them, we can't say that you should eat healthy, you shouldn't better yourself is wild. But I do also think that there are actually literally for sure people that like being fat because I'm pretty close to that. Like to me, I can say for a fact, like it's not that like how I look or like even barely how I feel. It's just when I get to a limit that's like I'm really struggling. But personally, I would sit on the chubbier, unhealthier side just to not have to exercise and to eat good food. And I'm not saying that everyone should just be fat and is healthy and all that, but you get what I'm trying to say.
And I'm not
I
saying
think
I'm
I
not
think
saying you
it's
should be mean
I
to
think
those
it's the
people.
censorship that's the issue. Like we should be able to say, like, if you're okay with being fat, then but you're fat though. Like they'll say I'm okay with being fat. So like you can say that I'm fat 'cause I could
But
tell.
those people like, and I don't mean like
And pretending like it's healthy.
aren't exactly like ripped and healthy, but the ones that are like big and it's like
Yeah.
get
I
out
mean,
of
there's
a
like
chair,
600-pound
they
people and
get
stuff.
out
Yeah.
of a chair and they're like huffing and puffing. I'm like, there's no way you're actually okay with this.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you're actually okay with this.
You're so silly.
You know? So, and I'm like, and I think, but then you have those people online that are like, no, they're great, they're beautiful. And it's like, I'm not saying anything about them being beautiful. My problem is like their cardiovascular system is begging for help. Like, like that's not good. It's not good for them. It's not good for their mental health. It's not good for their physical health. Like,
as always, I have to counterbalance what David's saying, whether I agree or disagree, and say that fat people are hot. Okay, that's wild. Yeah, but
like
you can still be beautiful and fat. You don't have to be sexy, thick, good, delicious, yummy. You could be a blob. Wait, no, I mean not a. No, I didn't say that.
Like a girl with a little love handle. I'm not against it.
Hell yeah. No, but I'm talking about the weird box. I mean,
but when you start wobbling
yeah,
like a penguin, it's a problem. Your joints aren't good. And my only problem with it is
men though. Men, I'm talking about men.
All the doctors in the world are like, no, but then you're like, you just fat shaming. It's like, why would a doctor fat shame?
Women though, all women are beautiful no matter what. But you fat, sluggy, dusty ass niggas, nah, y'all sick, bro. Y'all need to do something.
I'm not asking everyone to be like those people that are like, no, you should be a size 2.5, 2 or lower.
A bad word.
If you're bigger than a 2, you're not beautiful. Like, all right, those people are stupid. I like a little bigger woman, a thicker woman. Like, that's my type. But
I won't skinny shame either. Listen, I like a thick donut goodness, and I also like a thin Slim Jim.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm not.
Just be beautiful. Yeah, now, ugly people, I'm sorry. I am a little bit biased to you, but like, I still want you to be happy. I just don't, I can't do it. But like, listen, I know a lot of people that can't do short, and I'm a midget, so damn. No, well, you know what? I can take getting canceled by this.
There are more people that love short kings, but my height, everyone.
Oh yeah, hates. I don't have that issue.
My height is the cursed height because
I would argue really is worse to be in between.
It's like the worst.
Being short, you at least have a niche, like that, like kind of like it's a niche there, and like tall women be loving me, so I don't really have to care.
I like tall women too. I don't know what it is about tall women.
Yeah. Damn, they're like the meanest though. Like tall women are the ones that slander like 5'9" and 10 the most. They're always like, "Oh, you think you're 6 feet?" Or if he says it, like tall women slander 5'9" and 5'10". I don't know why. They just be evil.
They really do.
It's okay.
You'd be like, "I'm 5'10". You're 5'9". Don't even lie. Like, no, I'm literally 5'10".
But being slandered is still better than being 4'11" like me though. So.
No,
like bro. That's when it comes to women, it's okay to be short. In life, no, but I'm saying that's just when it comes to women, bro. In real life, it sucks to be short, bro. I can't even see you on top of refrigerators and shit.
I can't see
it's tragic. I can't reach into cabinets, bro. Like there's so many real variables that's tragic. I don't be caring what women think.
You don't even need to reach into cabinets no more. You can pull the little like extendo hand. And...
I do be using the joint. That's my favorite. The clamp is the best thing in the kitchen to me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let's get back.
Let's come back. It does. I think that's a part of our charm, though, is how we have conversations. So I think it's okay. But I think it has affected media a lot. I think it's affected the best parts of media in the worst ways. I think, especially for people like us, that like the thing why we like things like anime, why we like the type of like why you bring up Treasure Planet. We've always liked things that like expand our worldview while also introducing like fun or drama. Like it's novelty. We love novelty, right? That's why once repetition gets a little bit too there, you'll notice we're both the type to kind of migrate. Like, all right, this is always here, so what's the thing that's different or what's new?
Yeah.
Like we like innovation, we like novelty. what happens is innovation and novelty becomes scary because you can get in trouble, right? So then the safest tropes just become, right? It's why like I love reincarnation as a genre. I can never get tired of it. I could watch it over and over and read it over and over. But they just don't understand you could do more. I'm not even saying to do less. Come out with a new isekai every week and I'ma still fuck with it. I mean, mess with it.
Reincarnate me like, as a tire, a vending machine,
as a tire, as a vending machine, as a phone, as a lamp, as an air conditioning. And I would literally read a story. I reincarnated as a blade of grass. And I'll just sit there. And I swear there is one like that.
I'd be like, dang, I could never thought of life as a blade of grass before.
Why we like sports anime, because it like we've played sports and we know what sports are like, but it also takes what we know and we can understand the other, which that's why I say even sports is a good example. Like they've ruined sports almost. Like they've taken out the real like, and this is one of the biggest parts of it. On one side, you shouldn't force people to play sports that aren't really like athletes. I think that's one of the biggest things society messed up on. But on the opposite side, you should let athletes be athletes. Like to us, right? Like even though in the biggest picture of life, we might not care about something too much, it might not affect us. Like in this moment, in this match, I want to win. I want to win, and it matters more than anything. And I'm gonna crush this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna dominate. And I think they made it split off where they're like, well, everyone should play, and then we should give them 20th place trophies. And it's like, no. The people that aren't competitive can just not be competitive, and the people that are competitive, let us dominate. Sports, bro. I watch people. I want to get to boxing.
Go ahead. And sports are having the same issue. I feel like with some YouTube content creators, they don't do it because they love the art. They do it because they love the dollar sign.
That's a huge one too. Money.
Like,
that's
for
fair.
me. If I say I would have played football, right, and say I had made it to the NFL, me personally, and this just could be more of my business savvy mind, I'm not going to ask to break the bank. I am going to take lower paydays. One, because I get $60 million and I go get a money marketer account at 5.6%. And I put out of that 60 million, I put 10 million. I'm making 560,000 a month off the interest. When I retire, I can clearly live off of $560,000 a month. Like if you're living outside of that, then you're really just wilding in the first place, in my opinion. And I'm more of a minimalist. Like,
yeah.
I don't really need a flashy thing. But my other thing is, I take that lesser thing. We win more. I can now use my social media and my winning of being a a multiple championship winning Super Bowl champ.
I knew they were going to do that. I saw it.
Champ.
He's talking about Cowboy Bebop joint on Overwatch this game.
Yeah, I'm actually going to begin on that with Fluffy later.
Can we play Overwatch?
Yeah, just because of the Cowboy.
I might try to play Overwatch. I'll be faking.
What the heck is that? Did you turn that on?
What?
I just had bubbles pop up here with a thumbs up. I don't
think I saw it.
Yeah, that was weird.
I don't even the keyboard's over there and shit.
But yeah, so then what was I saying? I got thrown off by the bubbles. And then so now that I've won championship and people know my name, and I'm gonna create, content on Instagram talking about my craft and talking about the team and being a good teammate and a good person, that people actually like me. Not because I'm not a good person, I'm just gonna pretend to be a good person. I genuinely want to be a good teammate and good person. It's a genuine thing. People notice non-genuine thing, guys. Like, people can tell when you're faking. But and then after I use that, now I have a name and stuff. I leave football. I have multiple, bank accounts with interest rates that are making me tons of money. And now I'm popular, and I can use, especially in today's market, I'm using that clout to make myself as much money as possible. I'm doing commercials. I'm doing camps. I'm doing, you know who Detroit is? He's the YouTuber that went to University of Central Florida. Because of the rules before the NIL deal, they said you can't make money off of YouTube. So he left the school so he could keep making YouTube videos, and now he's on a
Oh,
football team. He's on the
oh,
actual football
okay.
team now, just by doing his YouTube videos.
I remember.
I've been a big supporter of his just because I like the way that he was like, you know what, I'm not going to give up what I have going for me, where I'm making tons of money, just because people made rules. I'll do it my own way. And he used a very big business line. Now, because I see a lot of these players, and I always get the argument of, well, the owners make millions and billions of dollars, and then we get only millions, and it's like, well, you also have to understand them. You're not the only person they're paying. They're paying coaching staffs and trainers and chefs and electricity bills and maintenance crews and and all of those guys are making a lot of good money too. Concession stand workers and parking attendants and people come in and repave parking lots because parking lots get destroyed. Water bills, gas bills, all those type of bills. On top of, if NFL crashes, you don't have to pay any penalties. Like, there's penalties and loans that he'll have to pay back that I'm sure he's taken out. Unlike you, who just gets to walk out and keep the money that they owe you and go on living your life and find another job.
If you get it back in blood.
So there is a difference, and I think that's the societal thing. We want more, we want more, we want more. And it's like, at the same time, how can you make more without having to be like, you owe me more? And that's not you shouldn't pay someone what they're worth. That's a thing of, we talk about inflation, but then we want to get paid more, but it's costing the person who does the thing more to run a business. Like, he's being hit by inflation too. I think sometimes we think business owners don't get hit by the inflation that the normal people do. No, they get hit by it more because now they're paying more. Now, are there corrupt businesses that don't pay their people well? Oh, heck yeah, I'm not.
But people don't separate the split. Like the worst of the worst are doing terrible, but the small business and the honest ones are really suffering. So people don't make those distinctions.
They a lot of times they'll clump them together. They'll be like, look at this place,
and
you're not looking at he has 200 employees in one location. He's not making what you think he's making.
Yeah, people don't know overheads and expenses, especially if you've never been entrepreneurial at all. People don't even realize just the smallest stuff, just being a YouTuber, how expensive that is and stuff like that. People don't be knowing.
Not to mention, you have to have savings. What if something happens?
Yeah.
A gas main breaks and your restaurant has to shut down for a month. Well, your bills don't stop. He still has to pay all the bills.
That's the realest shit in the world, bro. I need to get that tattooed on me. Your bills do not stop.
No, even though you're not even living there. It's the same as your house.
Real life.
It's like, if your house, you have to move out of your house for construction. Your bills to your house don't stop. You still have to pay them all. Sadly.
Is there any was there any last topic? I have to wrap in a little bit. I still got time, but
no,
was there any last topic?
I just wanted to see your point because I realized that's why there are the content creators I enjoy watching. They're different because they're just enjoying the small things. They don't have to be big.
I want to complain about it a little bit because I forgot if I've talked to you a lot about it, but Terrace House was one of my favorite shows to ever exist.
Which one?
And the Japanese reality show.
Oh, okay.
Where they're in the house, and it got canceled because one of the people, rest in peace, off herself because there was a lot of big drama and internet bullying. But what's crazy is, I'm not saying that we shouldn't blame the show, but the show got canceled, and the issue was that they were being hard on people, but it wasn't their fault. Not that I don't know her life, I don't know what's going on, but it was everyone in real life. Even though and that's my favorite thing about the show is it was almost a little bit boring because it's so real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Episodes for an hour, it's just sitting in a room on your phone. That's how real the show was. They wouldn't even edit it to be interesting. It's just
I kind of like that.
Sitting in a room on your phone. It was such a real show, but they canceled it because even though it was a real show, of course there are people faking. The network is still gonna kind of push agendas oh, y'all should go on a date. There's still, no matter what, but that though, that's not even a big deal. For a fact, Even that's not even just TV. In real life, people push agendas and try to
That's true.
create narratives. That's just
I
regular.
have a friend and she's single. You have to meet her, type stuff.
And so the show got canceled, and they made like a different spin-off or whatever you want to call it, and it's so toned down, and it's just crazy to me that like that's where we got as a society, that like people can't handle words for real. And like I think words are important. So like that's why I always try to be in the middle, right? I'm not a fan of people that be like, you could just say whatever and nothing and there's no consequences and like ah la 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 and everyone can be mean. Like it's cool that we live in a world where bullies aren't cool anymore. That part is cool. It's not cool where we live in a world where people who need to get bullied aren't. Like you see what I'm trying to say?
Some people I feel needs to get bullied though.
Of course there's people who need to get bullied.
I mean,
but I'm
we
saying
still have bullies. It's just the opposite. You don't agree with my ideology, so I cancel and destroy your entire life. That's bullying.
I can accept that.
That is bullying. Whether you like it or not, that is bullying. I just feel like the people that used to get bullied are now doing the bullying by socially shaming.
And yes, also yes. But I just really feel as though it was like one of those where like
oh god.
No, it's because of them. No, I keep trying not to say stuff because of them, not because of the getting canceled thing, but because of the 4-year-olds that I keep having to deal with every time I say something, because they be in my mouth. Nigga, get off my body, damn. But
his body, his choice.
You know what I'm saying? I can speak how I want to. But
they want
like
to be a better person.
Being a better person. But seriously, okay, it threw me off because I had to really think how to not word things a certain way. But the main point that I was trying to say is that it's like we lost the vision. Like it was like we were just moving here, like, all right, let's grow, let's develop, let's evolve, let's be able to communicate, let's do this. But then like the sauce became the food. Like pepper hits, but like I still want to eat steak. Like the point is to eat the steak. But it became like, oh well, I don't eat meat, so then that person doesn't eat meat, so then oh well, I only eat, so then it became, instead of just saying steak dinner and the people who don't eat steak, it became we're eating alternative meal dinner. And it's like the words matter, yes, but like also like the fucking thing matters more. Like if you really don't eat meat, that's fine and you can stand on that. But that doesn't mean that we can't have a steak dinner. Like, yo, I'm about to learn to start beeping when I'm talking. I'll be like, you piece of and just start talking like that. That's awesome.
Get a button, I can just accept the sound effect.
Start beeping over me. Nah, I really think I should learn to start. Like, I'm just training my brain to be like, you piece of dumb.
Yeah, and I mean.
I can't censor nigga though. Nigga's just too ingrained.
Just don't use my name. Be like, and when you use
like,
please don't do that.
I mean, remember that time when you were like I mean, you got it sweet though. A lot of people would flinch more because they will be worse. You honestly have no like public record or history of being racist in the slightest. So like you pretty much have it sweet. Even in our friend group and stuff, like you're technically probably one of the least racist that corrected even in the times when it's come up or in certain situations. So at least you don't even have to like I have like a backlog of being racist as hell. It only carries that I'm black, so I can kind of get away with it. But I was historically.
I mean, I have a satire.
You don't even have that
a satire of like mocking racism by being racism type thing, but not like a general like.
Yeah. I've never seen you individually judge a human on race in any way at any point.
You know, I mess with like Leslie.
You might be a little
like,
bit dumb folk.
Greatest Mexican food.
You'd be mean to some people or something, but
yeah, you know,
listen, we all have our things. That's how I feel about ugly people.
Leslie being Mexican, we all have and a cook telling her that Taco Bell is the greatest Mexican food ever. It's more just satire because I clearly know that's not true.
Yeah.
But I also know it's gonna make her mad because.
Nah, Leslie probably needs to get canceled though. Leslie's like canceled level racist. No, Leslie be saying stuff and I'm like, bro, we need to get her out of here, bro. There's no way. Yeah, Leslie's up there with Peter and Edgar, bro. I'm gonna catch her in AK.
Like.
All right, guys, it's almost time to go up. Okay,
It's not like, yeah, I definitely
not
don't
right
mean,
now, but it's almost time.
I don't mean anything about like you, because I mean generally I either care about you or I don't care about you. Not in a way of I don't care about you, like in a way of you don't affect my life, so what you do really doesn't matter to me. Live it to yourself.
Come on.
But yeah, no, there's definitely, yeah, and I think living in content creation, which is what I think the best way to describe it, is hurting people because like, yeah, and I think some of it is also just people not understanding what it takes to be content creators. People really think content creation is easy. Now, before someone gets crazy, I'm not saying it's easy as far as like it's easier than like a blue collar job. Like, no. But people think it takes no skill to be a content creator. And in some instances, you're right. But I don't look at like there's people that make brain-dead content as content creators. My content creators are your Casey Neistat, who's actually planning out shots. There's a cinematic art to it. Not I sat online watching other people's videos and then said some funny things here and there. No offense to you if that's what you do. Like I'm not hating. I'm just saying. Or I sit online and I yell about my own ideology and why the other ideology, like that doesn't take skill. You're talking about yourself. Like anyone can do that. But like
I can't make faces
creating like
that.
a game show, or Mr. Beast when he did the Fortnite tournament with the airsoft guns and the balloons, that takes creativity, time, planning. Like there's a lot of work trying to organize with like hundreds of different content creators. You know how hard that is? Like there is a difference to it all. I mean, and even some commentaries, you can tell when they're well thought out commentaries and when they're just like going wild. That's why I don't like the new like I don't even know what to call the new section of YouTube. You know where they're like the guys and the girls sit down and they talk about social issues. I hate that section of YouTube. It really pisses me off.
Bro, you know me.
And I don't even
Bro,
mean
you know
necessarily like the red pill side. I mean just the ones in general. Because
Bro, any of it. That's that. You know how I don't care about stance. I don't care about your stance on politics. I don't care about your stance on sports. I don't care about your stance on dating. I don't want to have the conversation, bro. I don't care. It's not interesting. There's so much cool shit to talk about.
Well,
That's not it.
Is like they set a rule, right? And all their rules make them look really shallow. Like, well, if you have a kid, no guy's gonna want to be with you. And it's like, well, I mean, maybe if you're, but like, I know a lot of people without kids that are just terrible people.
And I know a lot of people with kids that are
great.
fucking, and I love their kids. Yes. Like what? I mean, women all the time that I can really say this. I don't even care on camera. There's so many people that like maybe I'll date them or something, and it's harder to let go because of attachments to maybe children or pets, like a daughter or a son, or like a cat or like a dog or like a. It's gonna be wild to say this, but hopefully we'll never be too famous that this won't go viral or something. Guinea pigs, because I miss my baby so much, even though I don't care about. Well, I won't say I love her a lot too, but I really miss my guinea pigs.
And like there is like
nah, hold on, maybe edit that out though. I don't know if that can.
I do have an issue like if I start, if you start dating a mother and like within like a week she's already introduced you to her kid and stuff, and it's like
I said that word for word today.
Super dangerous. I think
I said that word for word today. Like I will cut you off if you're too comfortable with men meeting your children.
There are two.
That's crazy to me.
That does change things. Like when it's someone you meet in a friend group and like you go to group settings type thing.
Yeah, that's way different.
I'll give an example. Like if you would have started dating Vanessa and you met her kids, well, you met her through a friend group.
Yeah, way different.
Way birthday different. Parties and stuff. So it was like inevitable that you were gonna run into the kid eventually.
So you know that Vanessa, you're gonna date me, Vanessa? Are you gonna date me, Vanessa?
Love you.
You want to?
I hit you up all the time, wondering when you're gonna come hang out with me. You never hit me back. There's no love there, Vanessa. You break my heart every day. But
I'm dead.
But no, but yeah, so that's different. But like if like you meet on Tinder, right? Or whatever dating app. I don't know what people use anymore. I think dating apps are stupid, shallow, and really bad for your mental health. But like say you meet on a dating app and you go on a date, and then the very next time you go to see her, she brings her kid along. That's a red flag for me because I'm like, you don't worry about the well-being of your kid over your own emotional needs, and that's not a good sign of a good mom. And I want to date
like
a good
3
mom.
red flags to me.
And I want to date a good.
I mean, that's what I was saying. That's why I brought that up. I'm attracted to that. Like,
oh yeah, good motherly
that shit is such a turn on.
And she knows how to discipline him right too. I don't know. That's kind of a turn on. I'm like the bossiness. I'm like
In the middle, you know me. I'm always a middle person. Like when they're like loving and nurturing by nature, but they're also like, oh, mom, like I do this. Like I'm super. Like that is my favorite type of person.
Yeah.
I'm ready to propose immediately.
Teen moms, hit us up. Yeah.
No, actually though, feel free to slide if you know what I'm saying. Single mothers are my thing. So whatever weird podcast niggas talking about, I'm not talking to a single mother. Listen, you know if you're fine or not. It's irrelevant whether you have kids or any of that. Those are not variables here. Just you know.
If you while
no comment.
Your mom, that's a red flag. I will say that.
I'll figure that out for myself. So just come into my life.
Go out on the weekend. There's a difference between wilding and it's a weekend. I go out to a bar with my friends and drink. But if you're going out like 2-3 times a week to go drink and stuff and snorting coke and stuff, all right, you're wilding as a mother. Like that's some high school. I mean, not high school. Hopefully, you're not doing that in high school. That's some college like experimental stuff. But yeah, so.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think.
On rap.
Yeah, that's about all I had. But for today, yeah, I think it's just the moral of this episode is just meet people, listen, and don't make any assumptions.
Touch grass, losers.
Touch grass. Yeah, just touch some grass.
Please.
But yeah,
Quincy.
And then I think,
make sure you always touch grass. All right.
Yeah.
Don't get stuck in your tablet. Don't get stuck in the games. Always touch grass. All right.
Like, yeah. And then I think
the friends join the cult.
The thing for us, I think, is just for us to start doing more social content.
Oh, we're still. I know I interacted with you, but we're still recording.
Yeah, and then I think for us, and I think you would agree, I think it's time for us to not necessarily like go to nightclubs on the weekends, but start doing more like content creation outside of like the screen type things.
No, I want to go to like I want to go like Great Falls. I'm coming into my nature era because I keep seeing like the videos of it. If you see me sharing everything,
we gotta go camping.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stay the night out there with y'all, but yeah, I'll pretend like I'm gonna do all the aesthetics.
We could do like where we rent.
Okay, there we go. Okay, yes, I'll rent a cab. Okay, I was just saying I'm not sleeping in a tent outside. It won't happen.
If you went out like camping with me, I don't be sleeping on the floor, bro. I'd be having like air mattresses. I'd be up off the floor. It'd be.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping, but just in general, I'm not sleeping in a tent though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Unless it's in my backyard, then I'll do it.
And then like even the
actually next week. Oh, I'm not gonna say this on the camera. But I have to talk to you about something.
Well, yeah, we'll talk because Peter was talking
about
it.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. So we can wrap and then we can talk real quick.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. 1 month. We're happy. We're hoping to be able to keep going. Consistency. It's been the key.
Making content.
That's been our biggest struggle was consistency, and we're finally starting to get it done. Like it.
Yeah. No, we're locked in now. This. I don't feel like this is gonna stop. So this we'll be doing this. This is gonna be cool when we get to like we did 100 videos like this type of thing. Like that's the path we're on right now. In fact, let's call it road to 100. Let's lock that in right now, and just start road to 100. And when we get to our 100th video, wait, never mind. That's too much. That's too long.
How many
road to 52.
Let's find that
52.
It's 52 weeks in a
year. It's 52. Yeah, so
like
road to 52.
Yeah, road to 52. Let's go a year of getting it done every week.
Dang, that's still a lot of. Can we just say road to 6 months or something?
No, a year. I feel like a year's gonna go by. Think about it. Like
I mean, we
already
can do
almost
it for a
in May.
year, but I'm saying using that as the first metric. Like, I want to be able to be like, we did this before a year.
I mean, we'll do stuff like we get 10 subscribers. We'll celebrate that, and we'll celebrate little things.
Valid. A lot of people are starting to ask to like how I posted it like earlier in like little things, and I've been like holding off slowly to like build up people being like, oh, what are y'all doing?
I haven't advertised
yeah.
at all. I haven't even really talked to my
I've
parents
advertised
about
that
it.
I'm doing something, but no one knows what. So people are getting curious, and so I'm thinking is, I'm looking forward to like when we go live. I want to do at least one live.
Even down to like right
now
it's just my name, and I'm like, I kind of want to change that because you're definitely involved in it. I don't know what to change it to. But yeah, so that's something we'll have to do. But let's wrap for today, and then we can talk about. We'll do some post.
All right.
Stuff. Yeah.
Touch grass, losers.
Touch grass, and don't make assumptions about people. Just because they disagree with you doesn't mean they're necessarily bad. Right and wrong is sometimes relative.